Okay, I'm back again. This is part 3 with Lefty the Mustang, and we're going to halter him here. And I'm going to show you a few of the tricks that I use to halter my horses sometimes for the first time. Now, every horse is different, so depending on the type of horse that I have, I'll use a different method for each one. They don't all require the same method. Um, so what I'm doing here is I use a um, long lunge line or lunging whip to touch my horses with when I first get started. And you can see he's still irritated with it. And he jumps um, through my loop right there, which was a good thing. And I kind of caught him. I got the lunge line around, and then I'm going to bring the rope around. I use my lunging whip to get it around him. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it around. And as I'm undoing my knot and all of that, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to get him to relax, uh, and I'm going to throw the rope over him a few times, and I'm pulling on him to make sure he comes into me, kind of make sure that he's all right. And actually, I'm just kind of killing time right there, just wanting him to try to relax a little bit and get a little bit comfortable with that rope. And I'm kind of explaining to the owner who's standing watching what I'm doing, and I kind of move him there just a little bit. I want to get him in a different position, and I'm trying to get the rope around his neck, and he's kind of being a little bit uh, belligerent about it. And so anyways, we're just going to go ahead and let him go around. And there's the owner. The owner's just watching, seeing what's going on. He called me in because he's had some other people here and kind of haven't got the job done right. So anyways, I'm explaining to him what I'm doing and what the horse is doing. And so I'm just waiting for the horse to relax, to calm down. There you see him chewing, and that's what I was waiting for. I was kind of waiting for him to start chewing and getting relaxed. Now I'm sliding my hand up this rope. I'm going to use this rope to desensitize him. You can see he's pretty jumpy and he really hasn't had me that close to him other than the first time that I got up there and took that halter off of him, which had been on there for about 4 months. You can still see his nose where the halter was embedded before. And you'll see me sliding and rubbing my hand up there on his neck. And I use that rope as a guide. What I'm teaching him here, I'm going to use a little later on in getting the halter on him. And I'm going to have to be able to have my hand there in order to put the halter on him. So what I'm doing is I'm just rubbing him and trying to get him to calm down here a little bit. He's still pretty flighty and pretty nervous. So I'm going to go ahead and wait for him. I'm trying to get him to sniff me. I want him to, looking for a sign where he'll give in to me, where he'll not so flinchy and fidgety. What I'm looking for, and he's there, he's pushing me with his head. You could see him telling me to get away from him. And he's not quite very comfortable with me there, but he does relax there just a little bit. You could start to see him chew his on his mouth, be seen him chewing. Anyways, you can also see, I don't know if you've seen the tail flinching a while ago. Now he's trying to go ahead and sniff at me, and that's kind of what I like. So I'm still rubbing him and rubbing him, letting him know that I'm not really here to harm him. I'm here to work with him and to try to get him gentle a little bit, and so where he's not doesn't be so aggressive, because he's kind of aggressive. You could think he's learned through as many places as he's been, he's learned how to be aggressive. And there he really shows an interest. He's probably selling all the other horses on my coat, and I pull away from him. This requires a lot of focus and a lot of patience in doing this. And I'm walking away and just giving him his time. And there you can see he's relaxed. He's chewing again. And so I'll go ahead and I take this rope off of him. And with this rope, taking it off of him, I don't want him to think that I need the rope on him all the time just to rub him. So I'm going to give him some relief of pressure by taking that rope off. But I'm not going to step away from him. I'm going to go ahead and step back into him. I'm going to go ahead and rub him and rub him and rub him. There, as I started to step away, I noticed him kind of flinch. So I decided to step back and go ahead and rub him some more. The first time he understood it, and the second time he learned it, that I'm rubbing him, that I'm not hurting him. And so I do a lot of rubbing, and I'll be talking to him real quiet with my voice, really quiet, telling him a good boy, and just real quiet, letting him know that everything is okay right there. And right there I start rubbing myself because it's going to go through me to him, and he needs to see both of my hands moving, not just one. So I need to desensitize him to this. And as you can see right there, he's just kind of wondering. He thought I was going to move away, so he kind of looked into me. So I decided to let him get a different view of me, and I needed to rub him with my other hand also, not just with one hand, where he'll just get used to me using one hand and not both. So he needs to get used to me using both hands and touching him. And right here, I kind of step away from him. You can see him start to lick and chew. He's pretty comfortable with that. So I step right back in again and give him an extra one last rub here to let him know everything's okay before I step away and start on a new project here. Okay, so I stepped away and gave him his relaxation. Let him relax. You'll see him going back to chewing here in a little bit now. Okay, we went back here with the rope again and the long line. We put a different rope on him this time. This time I attached my halter to the stick, okay, to a little piece of twine that I use. I use a piece of twine attached to to the halter with a piece of there, he gets a little aggressive with me. I use a piece of twine attached to the halter with some tape, so this way I can, if anything goes wrong, I can pull away and drop the halter. Everything kind of will fall in place here. But anyways, he's still aggressive. As you can see, he's still a little aggressive. Now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to, since I've pretty well desensitized him with a lead rope and the rope, I'm going to go ahead and try to slide that halter up on his face. Now he didn't like me having the halter close to him, and I tried to approach with the halter folded up in my hand, and I tried that approach, but he wouldn't have it. So I decided to try a different tactic. Now these horses, everyone will be different, and they're gonna all have different tactics. I mean, you know, escape routes and so on and so forth. They're gonna try to do different maneuvers on you. If you try one thing, they'll counter you with something else. And it's kind of like playing a chess game sometimes. You know, you do one thing, then you do another, and they counter you with something. So you always gotta try to stay a step ahead of them. Especially the smart ones. And Lefty, he's not on the dumb side. He's pretty smart. He's pretty bright. He watches everything. He's looking at everything. He tries. You know, I think he's been around a lot of people, but nobody's ever really handled him. Period. He just had people coming up to him and trying to feed him and stuff, and he's learned to become a little bit aggressive toward these people because he's learned that if he pushes at them, they get away from him. So right there, I have a knot in my halter, and I slid it over his head, and the halter stayed on there. But as you can see, I had to let go of the halter because, for obvious reasons, he pulled away from me. Now he's getting a little aggressive right here. The reason he got so aggressive right there was because he didn't like having the halter on him. Okay, now I come back here again. This time I got a bigger rope on him, a thicker rope. This is my lead rope. This is the rope that I used to lead him with the first time. So it's long enough. It's about a 20-foot rope. and it's long enough that if they get away from me a little, they can get away from me a little ways, and I still can control them. And right here, my halter's pretty loose, and I really needed to adjust it up a little bit tighter. So that's what I'm going to try to do. But before I do that, I wanted to hook, the end of the lead rope up to the halter. So that's what I'm attempting to do now. I'm trying to get myself in a position where I can do this. Try to get that shank up there where I can latch it, and I'm working on it. He's being a little patient, but as you can see in his eye, he's still a little bit on the aggressive side. You can see that just a little bit, and he kind of calms down there just for a second. You can see me hunting here for the end of my rope, so I can attach it. Now everything I've done before, I'm doing again. You can see me rubbing myself, my hands and stuff like that. He's already used to that, you know. And right there I've attached it. But he really doesn't know any difference whether he's loose or not loose. At this point I really got to watch where my hands go. See, and I tried to touch him with the rope right there, but he wouldn't allow it. I tried to touch him with the hand, he wouldn't allow it. So now I have to go through the rope again. And there we go. Start rubbing him some more. And what I want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and take that rope off of him that I had around his neck. But at the same time, what I'd like to do is I decided, well, I'd like to adjust that halter just a little bit tighter. And I have the rope in the position that if he flies, well, you know, nothing's going to get hung up, and I'll still have control of it. So I'm trying to adjust that halter a little bit. And you can see him step into me right there because he's already realized that if he's close to me, I'll usually rub and pet on him, okay? And he's kind of wondering there still. You know, he's real nervous, he's real flinchy. I never had nobody really work with him like this. He really doesn't know what's going on. So it takes a lot of trust on his part to do what he's doing. You know, just letting me do this takes a lot on his part. He's never really had anybody rub on him. The last time they worked with him, I imagine, they worked with him in a shoot where they branded him, and I don't know if they castrated him or, you know, but I know they put a halter on him also. See, and he's telling me where I can go and where I can't go, and I'm trying to keep my distance from where I can't go for the moment. You know, I go back and forth where I can go and where I can't go. And now I have to use my other hand. And as you see, he's not all flighty because he's already learned that it's all right for me to put my other hand up there and I'm not going to hurt him. So anyways, this is part 3 of putting on Lefty's halter, and I'm going to give him a lot of rubs, and this is going to be it for this part. Thank you for watching.